Relinquish your attachment to the known, step into the unknown, and you will step into the field of all possibilities. Dr. Deepak Chopra. Hey, social media, it's Stephen Middleton coming to you from the Possibility Action Network. Our core values include I am, I can, and I will. I am Possibility Man. Today, I want to share on the theme, look where your heart points you. But first, I want to remind you, if you're watching this recording on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and you'll receive notice when I come out with another video. If you're watching this on Facebook, go to YouTube and search for the Possibility Action Network playlist and hit any of the videos there and subscribe. And that way, you'll be able to join me in YouTube when we migrate to YouTube completely. Now, back to our share. I want to talk about look where your heart points you. Now, where am I coming from? Well, I'm inspired by a man named Sydney Banks. You might have heard his name before. He was born in 1931. He passed away in 2009. And in 1973, he had an enlightening experience. And he talked about that experience in some of his books and in some YouTube videos that are around today. And he began talking about the substance of all life. And he said that there are three things which constitute all life. And he called them mind, consciousness, and thought. I like to refer to them as MCT. Now, I'm not pretending to be an expert on anything that Sydney Banks says, but I'm really struck by his note that mind, consciousness, and thought, it consists of all things. So what did he mean by mind? Well, to me, I think he meant mind is the source of all things. Mind is presence, the intelligence behind all things. If there was not mind, there would not be life. What is consciousness? Consciousness is our awareness of this life. If you're watching this video now, you only know that you're watching it because you are aware, because of consciousness. If you're looking in front of your mirror and you see an image that you're looking at, you can only know that because of consciousness. And then there is thought. And the way I like to see it is that thought is this creative energy that allows us to create whatever we want while we are in this dimension. So mind, consciousness, and thought, MCT, what am I talking about here? Well, let's work backwards to try to figure out this notion of look where your heart points you. Because a reasonable question to ask then is, what do I mean by heart? Am I referring to the organ in our body? Well, actually, I'm not. Even though the heart is associated with a lot of feelings, there are no feelings in the heart as far as I understand at this present time. If I'm wrong on this, send me a note. Let's talk about it. Perhaps you can educate me on this subject. But as I understand the heart is an organ that's a pump. And it has one job. And its job is to pump fluids through our body every second of the day as long as we are on the planet. And there are researchers who actually can work on the heart, can actually remove the heart from the body and give us a temporary heart. But that doesn't mean that we lose our feelings. There are scientists who are actually working on transplanting the heart of an animal, like a pig, because it's so similar to a human being, and so that a person with a defective heart can still experience life with the heart that comes from a pig doing the job of the pump. So feelings then are not in the physical heart. Someone would ask, well, are feelings located in the brain? Well, I'll use the same type of analysis about that. So what is the brain? The brain, as I see it, is a power plant, and it has a single job. It has a job to make sure I can move my fingers as I'm doing now. And it happens so quickly, I don't even know that the brain is given a signal that that should happen. The brain allows us to open our eyes, close our eyes. The brain is this power plant, this electrical plant that runs all of these power signals through our being that allows us to have a human experience. And the brain, like the heart, can also be taken out of the body, can be put into a jar and preserved so that individuals going to some type of natural science museum can actually look at the brain. So a feeling then is not in the brain. So where then are feelings located? I am suggesting that feelings are located in mind. In mind. And this mind could include the universal mind, the divine mind. But what I am saying here is this divine mind has expressions. And these expressions are beings like you and me, as well as everything else that exists on the planet. So therefore, feelings, the heart, the feelings then appear in mind. And I'm referring to your mind and my mind. If you have a feeling, it occurs in our personal mind. And since we are connected to divine mind, our feelings, we can say, are the output of universal or divine mind as well. So we have then one superpower as human beings. And this superpower, as I conceive it, is the power of thought. And by thought, by every thought that we have, we can create every experience that we have. And because of the type of world we live in, different cultures, different experiences, many of us are conditioned to create the thoughts that we do not like. And it doesn't matter what culture you live in. It doesn't matter whether you are, in an underdeveloped country or a highly developed country. We all have thoughts, and we all are conditioned to create actually many of the things that we do not want. Many of us, create memorized thoughts, thoughts of the past, or imagine thoughts, thoughts of the future, or even thoughts of limitations, thoughts that I cannot do it. So when I say then, follow the direction, the leading of our heart, I'm suggesting following the leading of our thoughts. And those thoughts that gives us a good feeling. I want to share a brief story with you that I came across recently. I think it might have been written by a poet or someone in literature. I heard another person talking about it, and it resonated with me. And let's see if you make any sense of it. And this person wrote about an individual who was in a room like the one that I'm in here in the studio with a closed door. And this individual wanted to get out of the room. So the individual got up, walked to the door, and began to push on the door to make an exit. And as the individual pushed, the door would not open because this door structurally was made to open from the inside, not from the outside. So as long as and as often as that individual pushed in, he or she, they did not identify the individual by sex, but they could not exit the room. And that's what I'm talking about now. With our superpower, with the superpower that we have, including me, the power of thought is as if many of us are in a room that opens from the inside, trying to open the door from the outside with this creative power we call thought. So then, when we look where our thoughts point us, there are other possibilities. And the question is, what are you creating with the power of thoughts now? I'll share with you some of the things that I am working on in my own life, especially as I'm connected to the Possibility Action Network. We believe that we have the power to think I am thoughts. That is to think those thoughts that reconnect, actually, that reminds us of our connection to our source. We never can be disconnected. We are always connected, even if we think that we are not. So I am thinking those thoughts that remind me that I am always connected to source, to presence, to intelligence, to the substance of all things. And I am having those thoughts that I can be a part of a community like the Possibility Action Network with like-minded individuals who are committed to thinking I am thoughts. I am committed to thinking I can thoughts instead of the limiting beliefs that I once had that I could not do it. About 3 or 4 years ago, I probably would not have attempted to do a live broadcast on social media and then distribute it out widely. I just had a thought that I'm not sure if I would be good at that. After all, I'm a professional historian. What would my colleagues think about me getting out there talking about, look where your heart leads you? And I'm thinking more and more now about I will thoughts, about taking action. This is why we established the Possibility Action Network, because I am committed to having these thoughts, I will take action, and this is one of the action steps that I've taken. But that's enough about me. I want you to think about yourself. What types of thoughts are you having today? Remember, thinking of our thoughts are our superpowers. That is, the ability to think, the ability to have thoughts is a superpower. Then the Possibility Action Network is an educational organization. And we are here to spread the good news that with the power of thought, we can look in a certain direction and create the life that we want for ourselves. Before I started this broadcast early today, I was remembering something from the gospel. And as I've said before, I come from a Christian background, so it's not surprising to me that things would come up in my experience from the gospel. And there was a scripture that read, with God, all things are possible. Now, I know we can get into an argument about who is God and where is the location of God, but I want to share with you what I think the Messiah was actually saying. The Messiah was acknowledging that the source of all things is mind. And with mind, with God, as he put it, all things are possible. Now look at the connection of a human being to all things. Because without mind, there could not be you and there could not be me, because we are connected to all things. So then, if you translate this, with God, all things are possible, he's really saying, with you, all things are possible. If you use the superpower of thought. And that's why the Possibility Action Network exists. And you're going to see real time what Stephen Middleton and his associates create with the Possibility Action Network. I'm Stephen Middleton. Our core values are I am, I can, and I will. And I am Possibility Man. Until next time, good day